welcome back to your TV classroom. Today is Tuesday, February 9th. Rashid, why don't you come sit here? Gus, you and Rashid are going to trade places. There you go. Now you're right next to me. Rashid, how are you feeling today? Oh, you're feeling in the blue zone. Okay. Would you like to share why you're in the blue zone? You know, friends, sometimes people don't want to share why they're in the blue zone. You thought your friend was going to get to come play today, but they're not feeling well, so they have to stay home. Yeah, that can be really hard. What do you think you could do today to focus on our lesson? Do you think just starting the lesson might help you focus on it and get the sadness off your brain? Sometimes that works, friends. I know that when I'm feeling sad, sometimes all I need to do is do a different activity so my brain can think about that new activity and then I don't feel quite as sad. And then later on, maybe you could draw a picture for your friend to help them feel better. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Friends, let's check in with your feelings today. What zone are you in? Rashid, I'm in the green zone today. I'm feeling really focused. My body's really calm and my emotions are content. I'm feeling great. So I'm in the green zone. Make sure to share with your learning buddy or someone where you are right now how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way. Okay, it's True or False Tuesday. Are you ready to play? Yeah. Is this equation true or false? Are you ready? It's false. What mistake did this person make? They added the 8's together. Are we adding the 8's together in this equation? We are not. Our equation has a subtraction sign. That means I have 8 and I take away 8. And how many do I have? 0. Okay. Is this true or false? What do you think? True or false? This is true. If I have 16 and one of the parts is 8, or I take away 8, I'm going to have 8 left because 8 plus 8 is 16. So 16 minus 8 is 8. I was just talking about this with third graders, but they're multiplying and dividing, but it's the same idea in multiplying and dividing. If you have your whole and you know one of your parts, you know your other part. Or if you have your two parts, you can put them together to find your whole. Great. Is this true or false? Rashid, what did they do this time? They subtracted. They said 6 and then they took away 6 and got 0. Are we subtracting here? No, we're putting together. This equation says I have two parts, a 6 and a 6. What's the same thing? If I put those two together, what do I get? 12. 6 plus 6 is 12. That does not equal 0. It equals 12, so it's false. Okay? True or false? I've seen students do this before. They don't understand the symbols when they're doing this. True or false? False. When we first learn something new, sometimes we use things over and over to try to make pattern and make sense of it. And I think that's what this student was doing. They were trying to make sense of the equal sign and the plus sign and the numbers. And what they did is they did 6 plus 6 plus 1 equals 13. Because 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 more equals 13. But this says 6 plus 6 equals 1. So this means that 6 plus 6 is 1, which is the same as 13. So what this is saying is 12 is the same as 1, and it is the same as 13, which is not true because 12 and 1 are different, and 13 is different than 12 and 1, right? They're not all the same. Equal sign means is the same as, and they're not all the same. It's not true. Wrong. Now, if we rewrote it and we did 6 plus 6 plus 1 equals 13, that would be true. But that's not what it says. Okay? True or false? True. We know the total, 12, and we know that we're going to take away 6 and that you get 6 left. And is 6 plus 6 12? Yes, it is. So it's true. Today we are learning to solve problems where there is a missing number in the equation. Now, friends, if you have dots like this or counters, now would be a good time to grab them. You also need to make sure you have your pen and your whiteboard marker. Now would be a good time to grab that. Oh, and your whiteboard. And we're going to find some missing numbers. We're going to talk about some strategies for finding missing numbers. Before we begin, let's practice finding a missing addend. We've done a couple strategies. We've done the count on strategy on the number line. We've done the turn it into a subtraction problem and find the missing part. You use whatever you need to use to solve these. I'm going to give you 1 minute. I want you to solve all 4 on your whiteboard, and then we will talk about them. Ready? Go. Okay, friends, we're going to use a number bond to help us for this. So Mr. Kevin, could I get the whiteboard as well? All 3 pictures, please. So we have some numbers. What do we know in this first equation? By looking at it, what do we know? We know that one of our parts is 5, and we know that our whole is 8. So on a number bond, we would put 8 up here and 5 here. So how can we find this other part? Well, we could subtract 8 minus 5 and find out what's left, or we could count on. Now, when you do a story problem, your story problem kind of tells you what to do. But for this one, I'm going to count on 5, 6, 7, 8. How many is it? It's 3. Did you get 3? That's what you should have gotten. Okay, let's do the next one. So I'm going to reset my board. Okay. Let's look at this equation. What do we know? Right, it's adding. So we have 2 parts to equal the whole. So we know one of our parts is 2, and our whole is 7. 2, I just know this one. I know that 5 and 2 make 7. So I know that this is 5. If I didn't know this was 5, what I'd probably do with this equation is say 7 minus 2 equals 7, 6, 5. It's 5. That's less counting than counting on for that one. Okay, reset. I'm going to put a 5 here. That's my missing addend. Okay, what do I know? I know one of the parts is 4. And I know the whole is 10, and I'm trying to find the other part. Wait a minute. It's a 10. Friends of 10. What goes with 4 to make 10? Do you remember? 6. Knowing your friends of 10 is so important because 4 plus 6 makes 10. So our answer is 6. Okay, last one. What do we know? We know one of the parts is 6, and the whole is 9. 6, 7, 8, woo, slippery, 9. How many? 3. 6 plus 3 equals 9. Great. Okay, go ahead and reset your board. We're gonna look at a story problem. Are you ready? Let's go. We're gonna do 3 reads of the problem. Then we're gonna do some work with a number bond and what we know and what we're trying to figure out. And then we're gonna find the answer. So first, put everything down. Everything, nothing in your hand. Right now, your only job is to tell me what's happening in the story. Talia brings 9 pencils to school. She gives some to her friends. She has 3 left. How many pencils does Talia give away? So, what's happening in this story, friends? Yeah, this person named Talia brings some pencils to school, gives some away, and has some left. Now let's read and find out the question. Talia brings 9 pencils to school. She gives some to her friends. She has 3 left. How many pencils does Talia give away? So what's our question? How many pencils does Talia give away? Now let's find out what information we know that will help us solve this problem. Talia brings 9 pencils to school. She gives some to her friends. She has 3 left. What do we know? She had 9 pencils. She brings 9 pencils. What else do we know? That she has 3 left. So let's look at the whiteboard and let's see if we can make a model that helps us understand this problem. So we've got some information we know. And we're gonna do a number bond and a bar model. So go ahead and draw your number bond and your rectangle on your page. Now, we know some information. What do we know? We know that the whole amount of pencils that Talia brings is 9. So we know this whole thing, if I were to put all the pencils in this box, I would have 9 pencils. If the whole box is 9, where do I put 9 on my number bond? Yeah, at the hole. Where's the hole? At the top. Or the hole could be at the side, or the hole could be at the bottom. It just depends on where the point is, right? It can be any direction. But our hole of 9, what else do we know? She gives some away. We don't know how many she gives away. Look, I can put a question mark in one of my parts because I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What else do we know? That there are 3 pencils left. That this box right here is going to have just 3 pencils in it. Okay. How could we act this out with our counters? 9 pencils. Go ahead, put 9 counters. Whew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what are we going to do? What do you think? What should we do? We should give away until there's only 3 left. Okay. How many are left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we think there's going to be 6 left. We acted out the problem. Now let's use some math thinking to check our work. I know that if I know the whole and the part, I can do 2 things. I can subtract to find the other part, or I can count on. My equation would look like this. 9 take away something, we don't know how many she gave away, equals 3. I'm going to count on from 3 until I get to 9 and see how many it is. Are you ready? I'm at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6. Look, it matches. Because 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 and 3 makes 9. We did it. So Talia gives away how many pencils? She didn't give away 3. How many did she give away? What did we figure out? 6. Talia gives away 6 pencils. Okay, let's go to the next problem. Are you ready? Here we go. 3 birds are eating. More birds joined them. Now there are 8 birds. How many birds joined? So, what's happening? Think about it. There's like a feeding thing. Like, have you ever seen hummingbirds or a bird feeder? There's 3 birds there eating. More join. Now there are 8 birds. So what's happening? Some birds are eating, some more come. Great. What's our question going to be? Let's read and find out. 3 birds are eating, more birds joined them. Now there are 8 birds. How many birds joined? What's the question? How many birds joined? All right. Let's read it again and find the information that we know. 3 birds are eating, more birds joined them. Now there are 8 birds. Okay, 3 birds. Now there are 8. Let's act it out with our counters. Let's get our whiteboard up, Mr. Kevin, along with this, and let's take a look. Let's see if we can act it out with counters. 3 birds are eating. 3 birds are eating. Some more birds join. I don't know. And the total is going to be 8 birds. How would I do this in a number bond? It's going to go here. Yeah, my whole 8 birds. 8. What's going to go here? 3. What's going to go here? A box? We don't know. What might the equation be? 3 birds are eating. Some join. Now there are 8 total. Go ahead and figure out how many birds joined. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. We can figure this out. We could draw on to figure out how many. So we could start at 3 and count till we get to 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that means how many birds? 5. Or I know if I have a whole and a part, I can take away the part I know to find the other part. 8, take away 3 is 5. It worked. So 3 plus 5 equals 8, or you can just use what you know. I know that 3 and 5 make 8. So how many birds joined? This is where it gets tricky, because students think the answer at the end of the equal sign is always the part that's missing, and that is not the case. I want to know how many birds joined the other birds. I don't want to know how many birds are eating now. I want to know how many joined. So how many birds joined? 5. 5 birds joined. Oh dear, that's not the pen. That's not going to work. 5 birds joined. Now, we're going to skip this one because we're going to do more of this work later and we're out of time. Your assignment today is to do page 355 and 356. You're going to talk about what you know about unknown numbers, and then you're going to practice doing this work with a few story problems. Today, we learned to solve problems where there's a missing number in the equation. We modeled the problem and acted it out. We identified what was missing, and we found the missing number using what we know. Great job, friends. Now, if you would like to send us something here at the TV Classroom, we would love to get it. So Mr. Kevin's going to tell you how to do that.
Friends, you can ask your adults to help you. Send us an email to tvclassroom@tacoma.k12.wa.us, or you can send it via the regular mail to TV Classroom at 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. Now, friends, it's time for your break. During your break, you need to get your ELA packet, your pencil, make sure you have your learning buddy, and be ready to learn with Miss Oslin when she comes back on the screen. It's a break time. Take care of your needs. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.
Rules. 1. You have 10 seconds to pick your crewmate. 2. A new timer will appear with an exercise for the crewmate you picked. 3. You will get 10 points for each correct crewmate and exercise you choose. 4. If you pick the imposter, you will lose all your points. 5. See how many points you can get. Good luck.
first graders, welcome back from your break. Excellent job gathering your materials and being ready to learn in our TV classroom. Go ahead and put your ELA packet, pencil, crayons, all of that off to the side. You can keep your learning buddy in your lap if they are going to help you focus. Now, let's remind ourselves what your and my job is every day when we come together. Say this out loud with me. Listen.
Listen.
Share.
Share.
Read.
Read.
Write.
Write.
You are a strong listener when you keep your eyes on the speaker, when you listen to the speaker, and when you think about the words and the questions and the ideas that I'm asking you to think about. You also are going to get an opportunity to share. I do want you telling your ideas. I want you talking about the book that we're going to read today. And if someone in the room with you is also going to be sharing, then you get to practice your active listening skills, learning from their perspective. We have been learning about how independent learning habits help me be a stronger reader and writer. And we practiced finding our own independent learning space. You'll remember your independent learning space is one where you are comfortable, you have your materials, and you have plenty of light to focus. And we looked at examples of not great examples of good independent learning spaces. That first one is just too dark. Mabel cannot see to get her work done. In the second one, there's plenty of light, and she has her materials, but they're scattered about. So if she needed to use her crayons, she would have to get up, go over, pick them up, go back to her spot. And by the time she gets back to her spot, she might have forgotten what she was supposed to be doing. We don't want to do that. We want to be efficient with our time, which means we get things done quickly, still doing our best work. Now, in that last picture, there's plenty of light. Mabel looks comfortable, and she has all of her materials ready to go. Now, your independent learning space might look different at home or daycare or at Auntie's house, wherever you are when you're not with your teacher. It might be at a table, sitting in a chair like me. It might be sitting next to someone else. Maybe you are at Baker Middle School and there's someone next to you who's also in first grade, and you have a learning buddy right there with you. Maybe you're able to sit outside. Maybe you have a beanbag chair. I don't know. That's up to you to decide what is the best independent workspace for you, and have your materials gathered. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like to have your materials gathered and organized. I have my workspace. I'm comfortable. I have plenty of light. And the materials that I will need, I have my box of crayons, I have pencils, and I noticed while I was gathering my materials that one of my pencils is getting kind of dull, which means not sharp. So it's a good practice to grab more than one pencil when you're gathering your materials so that you don't have to get up again, just like we thought about with Mabel's crayons. Now, you might have a writing notebook that looks like this, or you might have a learning notebook that looks like this. Either way, when you gather your materials, you want to have them organized and ready to go. Now, if you're also going to be doing your independent reading, the materials that you will need for that are your independent reading books. And you'll remember you're going to need more than one, because as I grow my reading stamina, as I read for longer and longer periods of time, I need more than one book. Otherwise, I'll read through this book and then get to the end, and what am I supposed to do? I don't want to have to get up to go get another book. I should have it with me. So you should have 4 or 5 books that you can read in your independent reading working space. So this is what it looks like to have your materials gathered and organized. Now, today we're going to read a book together. If you were joined our TV classroom at the beginning of the school year, you might remember the book Ish by Peter H. Reynolds. And we used this book to think about who we are as writers. So keep that in mind as we read Ish. Ramon loved to draw. Look right there. Ramon has a good independent workspace, There's plenty of light. Ramon looks comfortable. Ramon also has their materials close by. Anytime, anything, anywhere. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother Leon leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out laughing. "What is that?" he asked. Ramon could not even answer. He just crumpled up the drawing and threw it across the room. Leon's laughter haunted Ramon. He kept trying to make his drawings look right, but they never did. After many months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Ramon put his pencil down. "I'm done." Marisol, his sister, was watching him. "What do you want?" he snapped. "I was watching you draw," she said. Ramon sneered. "I'm not drawing. Go away." Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. "Hey, come back here with that!" Ramon raced after Marisol up the hall and into her room. He was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery. What is Marisol doing? Why do you think she's taking one of Ramon's crumpled drawings and putting it on her wall? Take some think time. Turn and tell your learning buddy what you're thinking. Rashid, I think Marisol likes Ramon's drawings, and I think that she is proud of him and the work that he's done. Now, let's keep reading. "This is one of my favorites," Marisol said, pointing. "That was supposed to be a vase of flowers," Ramon said, "but it doesn't look like one." "Well, it looks vase-ish," she exclaimed. "Vase-ish?" Ramon looked closer. Then he studied all the drawings on Marisol's walls and began to see them in a whole new way. "They do look ish," he said. Ramon felt light and energized. Thinking ishly allowed his ideas to flow freely. He began to draw what he felt, loose lines, quickly springing out without worry. Ramon once again drew and drew the world around him. Making an ish drawing felt wonderful. He filled his journals, tree-ish, house-ish, boat-ish, afternoon-ish, fish-ish, sun-ish. Ramon realized he could draw ish feelings too. Peace-ish, silly-ish, excited-ish. Now, what is ish drawing? Take some think time. Turn and tell your learning buddy. Rashid, ish drawing is doing our best, and it might not look exactly like we see it in our mind, but if we try our best, it's good. Now, as you are growing into a stronger, independent reader and writer, you can think about your own ish drawings. And when you're writing today, your drawings might not look exactly like you want them to, but try looking at them ishly and see if that helps. His ish art inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poem-ish. One spring morning, Ramon had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. And Ramon lived ishfully ever after. Today, we're learning how independent learning habits help you, me, be a stronger reader and writer. Your independent learning habits are making sure you have a good independent learning spot that works for you, making sure you have your materials gathered and organized. If it's your books, if you're doing your read to self, it's your writing notebook, your pencil and your crayons if you're working on writing. And it's also thinking about writing-ish and being okay if your drawings don't look exactly like you think they should. So you're going to think about gathering your materials like I showed you, having your writing notebook if you're going to go off to do your writing work, having your reading books if you're going to go off to do your reading. Think about your independent work spot. What is it about that spot that makes it work for you? You're going to find your just right spot. You're going to practice reading for up to 10 minutes today, thinking about reading to yourself every day, practicing the 3 ways to read a book. You can read the pictures, you can read the words, or you could retell the story. You could even write your retelling of the story in your learning or writing notebook. And your independent writing today is going to be retelling your independent reading texts in sequence, which means retelling them in order. Let's remind ourselves, what are the important elements that you need to include in your fiction texts? Do you remember? Get your hand up and say these with me. Character, setting, beginning, middle, end. You did remember. So say that chant to yourself as you're doing your retelling of your stories in your writing notebook today, paying close attention to your independent workspace. You're also going to continue tracking your reading goals, and you can get this chart to your teacher at the end of the week. Now, if you're going to send us the retelling of your independent reading texts that you have written, Mr. Kevin's going to tell us how you can send that to us.
It could be funny-ish. It could be silly-ish. It could be serious-ish. All you have to do is grab your adult and have them help you, if you need it, to email us your creative work to tvclassroom@tacoma.k12.wa.us, or you can always send it in the mail. And if you do send something in the mail, we will be sure to mail you back.
Oh, yeah.
Physical mail, right? TV Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Now, first graders, this is a time in our lesson when we get to say our affirmation, our positive self-talk, before we go off to do our independent work today. Your affirmation today is, I am a strong, independent learner. Say that with me. I am a strong, independent learner. Now, first graders, go off and be the strong, independent learner that I know you are. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow in our TV classroom. Bye.
Hey kids, we want to see your work. Just send your pictures and your stories to TV Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.